Hey everyone, welcome to the Shawn Will Be Here podcast. My name is Shawn Will. This is probably the most worst produced podcast on YouTube. My dumbass left my wide shot tripod at the comedy venue last week. So, you know, we're using my guest here. I'll introduce my guest here, Stevie Phoenix,
Hello.
Drag King. Thank you for being here. Kindly, Stevie Phoenix is letting us use their iPhone as the wide shot for today, but it's jerry-rigged on a chair, so
balanced on a pop socket.
yeah. If it does not make it into this video, that is why. But that being said, you are a drag king. Thank you for being here. How long have you been doing drag?
That is a great question, and one that I forget all of the time because I have ADHD. Let's see, I started...
Same though, ADHD.
So, 8 years.
Feel
We'll
that.
bring it around. Yeah, I've been doing drag for 8 years. And this last year is my first year being a full-time drag artist.
Hell yeah. Proud of that. You gotta be proud of your accomplishments for sure, because I see you fucking everywhere. Like, not even just having the same social circles or friends or whatever. Like, you are in my feed nonstop. You're always going to, like, cities around Ohio, Michigan.
Very needy, it's true.
Yeah, very busy. You are in high demand. So I thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Yeah. So, that said, do you want to give a little spiel to the camera to introduce yourself, or?
Well, sure.
Yeah, maybe plug your Instas or whatever socials you have.
Hey, how's it going?
Get sultry with it.
My name is Stevie Phoenix. As we said, I've been doing drag for 8 years. I'm a drag king, and if that concept is new to you, first of all, shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. Drag is simply the art of gender performance, and anybody can do any of it. There are drag queens who represent, they present like hyper femininity. There are drag kings like myself who present hyper masculinity. There are drag things and in-betweens as well. I like to tell people when I have an audience full and I have the opportunity to host, I always like to tell them it really doesn't matter if you come up on the stage and you are a lamp. Guess what? Your pronouns are now on off.
That is genius. That is fantastic writing.
Thank you so much.
And I love that you did a pronoun joke that wasn't one of the ones that the right likes to do, where it's like, my pronouns are kicking ass.
Yeah.
It's like be a little more tasteful, and I appreciate you for bringing that taste.
Oh, don't
to the
worry.
show.
I can be very distasteful as well.
Oh, we'll get into that for sure, because one of the reasons that I'm kind of calling these next few episodes my emergency episodes, because there is currently a bill in the Ohio State Congress, because we are based in Ohio, for the record. I don't know about you specifically, but me, I'm based in Ohio. There is a bill in the Ohio State Legislature right now that passed the state Congress and went to the Senate that is called HB 249. They tried to give it some special name about we're going to update indecency laws or whatever. No, it's what we're calling it specifically. A lot of people call it the drag ban bill, but what I like to refer to it as is the gender enforcement bill. Because that's how the bill, in my opinion, can be interpreted. Mm-hmm. I will leave a link at the top of the comments to this bill, because if you actually read this thing, folks, it at some point in it outlines that any performer anywhere, it never refers to drag in name. It calls it an adult cabaret show. And also, it bans not even just drag in public spaces, like parks or libraries or whatever, but it also bans them in private businesses that are not adult-themed places like strip clubs or adult bookstores. It is making drag into pornography by legal definition. And that is heinous. That is a violation of First Amendment rights, in my opinion. And that it pisses me off, quite frankly. Rightfully so. But also, if you read into it more, because it's written so vaguely, one of the possible interpretations of it bans performers from wearing clothes in public or makeup in public that differentiates from their assigned birth biological sex.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, in this day and age, I cannot look past the idea that they could use this to try to criminalize transgender performance as an entirety. That they could use it to even take us back to the 40s and not let women wear pants in public. That's insane of a concept to me.
Yeah. No, it is. And the vagueness of the language, I think, is a very important part of this bill.
Oh, and it feels intentional.
I was just going to say, I think it's an incredibly intentional part. What was Congressman Booker? Is that his name?
No, the sponsor of this bill is Representative Josh Williams.
Josh Williams, thank you.
Yes.
Josh Williams kept saying over and over again when people were voicing their strong opposition
Yes.
against this bill at the hearing at the State House, he was saying over and over again, this is about performances around children. He kept trying to rephrase and reframe and saying what you're saying doesn't matter because it's not applicable to this. But there's no language in the bill that specifies what is a performance.
Exactly.
There's no language in the bill that specifies what is considered inappropriate.
Exactly.
Are you, like, what's inappropriate to you? Is a woman who has PCOS and has embraced her facial hair, is that inappropriate to you?
Exactly.
You know, is a man or anybody, you know, a muscular woman
What
wearing
if somebody
a
who has
miniskirt?
Sawyer syndrome goes and performs? Or somebody who has Triple X syndrome goes to perform? And they have, like, gender differences from what you see as the norm.
Yeah.
These are real people this bill does not... In fact...
Take into account.
No, it actively ignores them, if anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't include them, and it actively ignores them. And that's heinous to me. And this is why, you know, not to get dark right away and let's brighten it back up a little bit. This is why I'm having the emergency drag.
Yeah, I mean, this impacts me in two ways, honestly. I am not an Ohio resident. I actually live in Michigan. I live right over the border. I tell people I'm from Toledo, Ohio, because nobody can point to Temperance, Michigan on a map, right?
Oh, I've been to Temperance.
Yeah, but you're local. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, most people kind of know what Toledo or where about Toledo, Ohio is. But this still impacts me because of how often I'm in Ohio. And it impacts me as a performer, not just as a performer, but also as a trans individual. Because again, how are we going to define what a performance is? Is a trans woman walking down the street in fishnets, is that simply a performance to you? Are you going to call the police on this woman for simply expressing herself in public? Like, you know what I mean? That's
Exactly.
where the danger lies. And I agree. I think that it is written that way on purpose, because historically speaking, society has always had a scapegoat to kind of deviate away from what's actually going on.
Right.
You know, it was disabled people back in Nazi Germany, and then, you know, once that no longer had any more foothold, then it became Jewish people. For a while, it was black people in this country.
Trans people were also one of the first cultures that
Absolutely.
the Germans went after.
Oh, absolutely.
People,
we would have had much more history if it weren't for Nazi Germany,
Exactly.
because the only gender studies college and library was burnt down in Nazi Germany.
Exactly. So this is definitely I don't like to jump to extreme labels. I don't like to be that guy who sounds hyper-political, hyper-involved, or whatever sometimes, but there are certain things that I look at and I go, no, that is a fascist policy. 100% you are taking the rights away from people, you are scaring people into hiding, you are trying to make people conform to a certain idea of what a person is. And you can't do that. That is robbing people of their humanity.
And it's also incredibly hypocritical.
Oh, yeah.
Incredibly hypocritical, because there is a difference. As a drag performer, I show up to do the job that I am hired to do.
Exactly.
When I get hired by a bar, that is a different job than when I get hired at a children's birthday party. Which happens. I literally just did a kid's birthday party. It was amazing. It was Greek god themed, and I showed up as Hades.
That's badass.
Yeah, and I did a little number for him, and you know, lip synced right to him during it, and his mind was blown. It was beautiful. Those are two entirely different things. I am not going to do what I do at a bar that I do at a children's birthday party. Why? Because I'm a professional. Because I know what the job requires of me. It's
Right.
the same as hiring princesses, Disney princesses, to come to your
Exactly.
party. If you're gonna throw a fit over drag performers being inappropriate, I better not see you fucking taking your... Sorry, am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yes, you are.
I better not fucking see you taking your kids to Hooters.
No.
Like...
And for the record, hi, Kitty.
She's in strong agreement.
Yes.
Yes, you are an ally, sister.
Hi, baby. That's Goobers, everybody. She likes to make this her podcast sometimes. But, yeah, no, 110%. My parents took me to Hooters when I was younger, and I'll admit it now, I think that's weird.
Yeah.
Because you are essentially, in a way, sexualizing your children, or
Yes.
wanting somebody to sexualize your children when you take them to a Hooters.
Think
bar.
about how many stupid little onesies you've seen. Like, ooh, daddy's little lady killer.
Yeah.
Future stud muffin.
Oh,
or
110%.
you put two babies in a bassinet together that are a few months apart and opposite genders. Or opposite sexes,
And people
rather.
will go like, they're going to get married one day.
It's so weird.
It's so weird to do that. And yet you have people who think that's what these adult drag performers are doing to kids, and it's not. No. It's not.
We're not indoctrinating your kids. Most of drag performers don't even really like kids that much.
That's what Frida Nip said on the first episode of this show before this bill was even introduced.
I like my kids,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much it. That's a lie. I do like kids.
But-
The older I get, the more I do like kids. But
That, and the most of drag is done at adult bars.
yes.
Where you have to have an ID to even enter in the first place sometimes. You know what I mean? So I don't understand. Like, if you're bringing your kids to bars, that's a whole different conversation.
Yes.
And at that point, what they see at a bar is on you.
That's your responsibility.
That
as
is
the
your
parent.
responsibility.
But where it pertains to like family-friendly performances, like prides or reading to kids at the library, things like
Right.
that. If I would have had something like that as a child,
Yes.
my life would be completely different.
Oh, 110%.
I didn't start transitioning until after I started drag, and that's because drag, when I initially started drag, I was very hyper masculine in my drag persona. I didn't even want to glue any rhinestones to myself because I was like, oh, that's too feminine.
Exactly.
Obviously, my drag is
Yeah.
totally different now, but that's because drag kind of became this safe space for me to figure out my own personal gender presentation.
Right.
And then once I figured out who I was, well, drag then became a place for art and to play and to have fun.
Yeah.
But I didn't even...
It's performance. It's theater,
Yeah,
darling.
exactly.
You know?
But if I would have had that representation, or that, really just that confirmation as a child, because I knew as a little kid, I remember insisting that people call me a boy. I was that brat who would take the scissors to my own hair because I knew if I fucked up my hair, my mom would have to take me to go get a short haircut.
Yeah.
You know? I remember stealing a packet of boys' underwear from the store. I remember my parents sitting me down at the age of 7 and being like, listen, you have to start wearing a shirt. Like,
Yeah.
it was all there. Like, I knew who I was, and had I actually had like resources and representation, if I would have showed up to a library as a 7-year-old whose parents were begging them to keep their shirt on because I just wanted to be like all of the rest of the boys, and saw a trans person or reading to me and describing their experience, my mind would have been blown, and
Right.
my life would have been so much easier.
And I feel like as children, even if it might not have been always the best representation all the time, there was a lot of representation in our media that we could find with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trans myself. I am not a drag person myself at all. But I have friends who are trans, and I have friends who have told me their experience. There's things like watching Mrs. Doubtfire and going, "Oh, a boy can turn into a girl? That's cool." Or like seeing Bugs Bunny and thinking, I want to dress up like a girl now too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or SNL performances, things like that.
Yeah.
There are always, even if it's like sometimes comedic and sometimes not the best representation of what is now, there have always been subtle ideas that have told people who they could be. And that's enough. You know what I mean?
I will say
there's better now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm going to venture that I'm a little older than you.
I'm 28.
I will be 39.
All right. Yep, definitely older.
So I had a little bit less representation growing up, and I also find there's less trans masculine representation in general.
Oh, no, 110%.
I mean, I didn't have anything except for like Peter Pan
Yeah.
and Victor Victoria.
One of my best friends, I won't mention his name on the show because I don't know if he's comfortable with it. One of my best friends is a trans male. And he has told me multiple times that, like, it took him forever to really find any representation at all. Because you just don't get that. There is no, like, there was Mrs. Doubtfire, there was no Mr. Doubtfire.
Right, exactly.
It was very rare. Like, I think the best we got was on SNL. It's Pat, and that was kind of
yeah. It was a little problematic in and of itself,
right?
But
I
an androgynous character.
I do appreciate the attempt for the time. You know what I mean?
Fair.
I need you to stop that, baby. You're trying to distract things, and I need you to stop. All right. Sorry, cat break, everybody. But It is, you know, for example, it is amazing to me how that is something that these politicians, these lawmakers don't think about, is trans males.
Yeah.
Is, like, for example, these bathroom bills. They're mostly targeted at trans women because they're worried about, like, all their reasoning every time, and I think it's bullshit, but their reasoning every time is, what if a trans female who has, like, a penis goes into the women's bathroom and, like, hurts somebody or whatever, which is one.
First of all,
fuck you for that.
First of all, that wouldn't be a trans woman, that would be a man in a dress.
Yeah.
And second of all, I don't know very many men that have to put on a dress and sneak into a woman's restroom if they want to assault somebody. If a man wants to assault a woman, he's just going to assault her.
Preach. Yeah. It's like, bad people aren't going to go through performative steps to be bad fucking people. They're just going to do bad shit. And you should just do, like, if you want to say that, like, oh, bathrooms maybe need, like, better security or whatever the fuck, sure. Or, like, you know, I get that. Or maybe, like, bring back bathroom attendants, you know, like, male and female, if you're worried about it.
If you're that worried, I guess.
Then you're creating jobs at least, right? But, like, God forbid a trans man in a state where there's a bathroom bill who has had, like, their surgeries, has not had their surgeries, but they're passing. They look like a man now. They're a passing male. If they're required to go into their assigned at birth gender's bathroom, that's going to scare women.
Absolutely.
And you're making a threat out of a community that is not a threat now. You know what I mean?
And
there are no statistics that have really shown that rape amongst people who have been cross-dressing in bathrooms is even a problem.
Nope. In fact, there are no recorded accounts of anyone dressing as their opposite gender from birth assaulting anybody in a bathroom. It's
stupid. It reminds me of, like, those Florida lawmakers who tried to ban putting litter boxes in schools.
Yeah, because of that one joke online. Like, that was absolutely ridiculous. Going back to, like, what we were talking about, if it's okay, about 100%. Just, like, trans men being overlooked. It's really interesting. Yeah, we're overlooked because people don't think about that side of it. They're only thinking about trans women. They're not thinking about trans men. They don't think about our experience. And very often, the types of hate comments that I will get on my content, like if I have content that I'm specifically talking about trans issues, people will say, I can't believe that you're saying all of this with a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Look at that. I can spot your Adam's apple. You're obviously a man. Like, these hateful people are trying to out me as a man because in their mind, the only trans thing that exists is a male to female trans woman.
Exactly.
And then they come on mine and they're like, oh, yeah, you're still a dude. You're, first of all, accidentally affirming my gender, which is hilarious. And, of course, that gives me just more content because I'll post about it more, and that's just more money in my pockets. But at the same time, it's very interesting on how it speaks to that larger issue of people just not realizing that trans men exist.
Yeah. It's you know, the closest comparison I have in my personal experience is I'm a bisexual. Gay people love to forget bisexuals exist all the time. But it's not to the level of trans men.
Sure,
like,
I understand what you mean, though.
It's so funny to me because my best friend that I was referencing a minute ago, I remember there was one time we went up to Detroit, the Comedy Kindergarten, I think it was, we did a show at, and he drove me up there, and we were out back. We had forgotten a pipe, but we had weed. So we took a pop can, and we were smoking weed out of a pop can in a back alley in
I
Detroit.
remember high school.
Well, I wasn't. I was, not a few years ago. So we were sitting there smoking out of this pop can, and then guys come out, and they had a pipe. And they had weed as well. And listen, if you're a stranger and you're going to offer me weed or something to smoke out of, I'm not going to say no.
Sure.
I'm too trusting, and I'm too much of a stoner to say no. You know what I mean? Personally. But that said, once you start talking to me, I hope you don't say some stupid shit, And these people immediately started going into a conversation about how the scary thing about trans people is that you never know who's trans. Right? Which is like, one, hilarious.
First of all,
because they're scared. They're actually unironically transphobic.
Why are you scared?
Yeah.
Why are you scared of being attracted to somebody? If somebody's hot, just say they're hot.
Right. And here's the sad thing is I don't like to say this as this is just me personally. My rule of thumb is don't lie to people about because unfortunately there is pansexuality, but there is people who aren't pansexual. Parts sometimes matter in compatibility.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And that is the only time that necessarily matters.
And
right?
listen, I will say, I obviously I don't speak for all trans people, but as a trans person, I personally don't get upset when somebody has a genital preference.
Yeah.
That's literally not... You can't help that. If
right.
that's part of your sexuality, that's part of what you're attracted to.
Exactly.
That's perfectly fine. So me personally,
I'm bisexual and I have a preference.
That's so
valid.
Fair.
That's
so
valid.
Fair. I'm pansexual, but I still have a preference.
Exactly.
I still have a preference.
You're allowed to have a preference.
I love all of it, but I do have a preference.
It's a matter of how you approach it.
Which is why I would never be upset if a gay man rejected me because I did not have a penis.
Exactly.
Now, are there ways that we can get around that? Absolutely. But for some people, it is an attraction.
Yeah.
And while I could talk about the aversion to women's to female anatomy and how that is overall an issue, especially in the queer community.
It is.
When that is not a part of it, you know what I mean? When that is not part of it, when it's not an aversion to a female anatomy, when it's simply a preference, I would never get mad at somebody.
No.
Never.
Yeah, and now we're getting a little personal here on this podcast. This is believe it or not, first time we met, but we're getting kind of personal about it. So that's the thing though, is that it's all about communication and how you approach things. If you just walk up to somebody and go, "What are you? What's in your pants?"
Yeah, that's not okay.
You're nobody taught you social skills.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
The only reason for you to know what's in my pants is if we're going to sleep together.
Right, and
if we're going to sleep together, I'm going to let you know what's in my pants before it happens.
Exactly. You're going to buy me dinner first. You know what I mean? It is frustrating that seems to be the fear that and it's ironic because they were having that conversation with a trans male. So me and my friend were just sitting there laughing our ass off, because these guys are laughing with us about yeah, it's scary. They're making jokes about transphobic jokes, but we're sitting there making jokes about how yeah, no, you're right. You do never know who's trans because
that's really funny.
My trans friend is in this conversation.
That's really funny.
Obviously didn't out them because I didn't want them to be unsafe.
No, of course.
And thank God my trans friend is passing. You know what I mean? Or else this would have not been safe for either of us.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe those guys would have not said anything or just walked on by.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is more than likely the case.
Right.
But
because people love to talk shit behind backs, but they hate to be that bigoted in your face.
Well, it's really easy to post something online. It's really hard to actually confront somebody with your feelings.
Exactly, because what if they prove you wrong?
What if they change your mind?
What if they give you cognitive dissonance?
Or context?
Oh, God forbid you learn something.
Yeah. Yeah.
don't even get me started on how the American education system has just failed a lot of people, and this is all...
No child left behind?
Yeah. All just... I mean, God forbid...
We should have left a few behind, guys. Like,
I hate to be that guy. There was a grade where I should have been left behind at one point because I needed the extra help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was
setting people up for failure.
Also, as an autistic person who had 136 IQ as a child, it's nowhere near that anymore. But like, I was labeled gifted, and I had to go through like all that extra bullshit about like so many people thought I was like, they would call me the R word because I had like extra time on tests or this or that or whatever, and it's like. It's such a lack of media literacy thing. It's so ironic to be compared to Lenny when they're teaching of mice and men to these kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's like it's people are not understanding media literacy and context, and it sucks now because our freaking Secretary of Education is a freaking wrestling CEO.
I can't.
No, I've talked about wrestling so many times on this podcast, but like it's just like their friend. This is the thing, is I can't take these like threats about like how trans people are a threat, how drag is a threat to children, how from the party who's like fronted by Donald Trump, who was friends with sex traffickers like Epstein, like Diddy, like Vince McMahon.
Did you see who else was in the Epstein files?
No, who else?
The creator of Life Touch Photographies. You know, the people that take your kids' a school photo every year.
Yeah, because, you know, God forbid your children aren't in a database owned by a pedophile.
Yeah. It's never been about protecting children. No. I mean, if it were, then we would have, you know, welfare programs set up. No kid would go hungry.
Right. And 110%, I remember not too long ago the Supreme Court was arguing about the accessibility of porn, and they had like the CEO of Pornhub at the Supreme Court and everything, challenging like ID laws and, you know, verification laws. Why you have to freaking show your ID on so many websites now is because of that. Because they're worried about children accessing porn online. But now, like, Facebook wants you to have your ID sometimes. Like, freaking Discord wants you to have your ID sometimes. It's like, these platforms are not pornography platforms. You know?
Yeah.
Like, so, sure, there can be in some spaces not safe for work content on certain sites.
Sure.
Right? Like, I remember when Tumblr removed porn. You know what I mean? That was a whole deal.
I remember that.
That almost killed the entire platform.
I know.
Because when they added, what they did was they didn't just remove not safe for work content. They were vague about it. They were like, I remember the term female presenting nipples.
Yep.
What the fuck? How do you define that?
Yep. No, I remember that.
I remember so many actually cis men taking shirtless pictures to be like
really cropped in.
Yep. Just to be like, yeah, just do I look like I have girl tits enough?
Yeah, like pushing.
Yeah. It's it was ridiculous and it was stupid. And then once they pulled the trigger on it, it wasn't just porn that was flagged because they weren't using human moderation. They were using some type of early AI machine algorithm, whatever the fuck. That literally, I remember seeing so many like just regular drawings of photos of dogs, photos of like fire hydrants, like bicycles, dumb shit, all marked as porn.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was a nightmare. And this is why, like, the way you do things and the way you implement things, like procedures online and laws, matter. And that's why the vagueness of HB 249 matters so goddamn much.
Yeah.
This drag ban isn't just a drag ban, it's a gender enforcement ban.
100%.
And it's long-winded. I know we're talking in circles at this point, but it's the point that needs to be stressed because, like, I know I'm going to post this online or post this in clips, and there's going to be people who are drawn to it because the algorithms online love to rip up rage. Literally, there have been studies that have proven that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that.
They push opposing things into your feed on purpose because controversy means more comments.
Yeah.
And the thing is like,
Eric Bischoff once said, controversy creates cash.
Yeah, and that's what it is, because
Exactly.
because my things are monetized.
Yeah.
So sure, I get paid for my interaction. I don't get paid nearly as much as Meta does.
I have not gotten paid shit for anything yet. I'm just really getting started on the whole content creation thing. Like, hopefully we'll get there someday.
If it makes you feel any better, it's not very much.
No, and it never is. But because these platforms are essentially using you as the product.
Yep.
That's how they've always made money. They sell your data, they monetize your, feeds, your interactions.
Yeah.
They use you to sell ads.
There's definitely like a bit of a feeling like with Meta platforms of like kissing the devil's ring,
Yes.
so to speak.
Yeah, and it's the worst because, like, on Instagram, for example, and this is to tie it back into what I was saying, I know there's people who will, like, find these clips or find this episode and say, like, good, I'm going to vote for it now. One, it's not, you don't get to vote for it. We don't get a say in this. It's the legislature.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing.
But what you can do,
Petitions.
you can, and you can also call
your representative.
Call your state senator. Your state senator.
Yes.
And you can find that, I think it's ohsenate.gov,
Mm-hmm.
and you can type in your address and it'll tell you who your state senator is. You can also call Mike DeWine, because the thing is, this has already been passed through the House. House and Senate are on their recess right now. Well, House got called back for bullshit,
Yeah.
but Senate at least is on their recess right now. When they come back, so we have time, right? We have just a little bit more time to stay organized and to keep calling, but whenever they vote on it, the final step is it gets put on Mike DeWine's desk, and he has the power to pass it or to veto it.
And he's already proven with the way that he's, like, for example, just to tie this in, changed the marijuana laws in this state, even though we voted for it. Mm-hmm. They just decided, no, you didn't, actually. We're just going to change this because we can just do that, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's already proven that he would be inclined to 100% not give a fuck with this lame duck governor seat and just go ahead and sign it.
Likely.
So we need to make our voices heard that he would not hear the end of this. Even after his time in office, he would not hear the end of this.
Because I've also heard, because I've posted about this on my socials and encouraged people to call their senators and given scripts even. And there are some pushback sometimes from people who say things like, this isn't enough. This seems performative. This isn't going to make a difference. What we need to do is like real violence.
No.
Things like that.
No.
Here's the thing. I'm all for a violent uprising. Right?
Well,
I mean,
Martin Luther King did say riots are the language of the unheard.
Yes, I'm all for a violent uprising. Here's the thing. Contacting your representatives historically does have a proven impact. And that is not necessarily because these politicians care about the issues or care about your livelihood or care about your family. They care about votes. Their number one priority is it's always going to be to either maintain their place of power or to further their political career. And they can't do that without the votes of their constituents. So when constituents are constantly calling in, and there is bipartisan opposition against this bill, y'all.
Yes.
I don't think you understand how big of a deal that is. There is bipartisan opposition. So when they are hearing people from quote unquote both sides of the aisle calling in and saying no, 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 oppose, 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 they are more likely to be strong-armed into opposing it, whether that aligns with their moral beliefs or not, because they want to keep their job.
Right. Because here's the thing. This won't just affect drag. This will affect trans people, and it won't just affect trans people either. This will affect theater productions.
Yep.
This will affect movie productions.
Hairspray.
Yeah. And there are
Mrs. Doubtfire the musical.
Right. There are carve-outs in the bill that say legitimate theater productions, but who determines what's a legitimate theater production?
It's not defined in the bill.
And not theater production, film production. My bad. It doesn't even mention theater in the bill. Forgive me.
I knew what you meant.
Yes. But I need to clarify because
we are being recorded, aren't we?
yeah. This is going to out to the world. But God forbid, and that's why I'm making it clear that me personally, I don't advocate for violence. Because violence begets violence, in my opinion.
That's fair.
And I feel like that is not the answer, but definitely being so loud that they can't ignore you.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
going back to the piece about violence, I do think that what we could agree, even though we may have kind of slightly opposing viewpoints on that, I think what we do agree on is that calling your if you're sitting there in your home and just refusing to make a phone call or send an email and are instead simply daydreaming about violence, because 90% of the time the people that speak out and say we need to have a violent uprising, we need to have a revolution, are sitting in their homes and daydreaming about it. I think that you and I both agree that actual action is better than just sitting there daydreaming without any plan of action.
No. And I agree 110% on that. And it's the problem as well, is that these people who think about like, oh, we have to do this violence, the problem is that they're isolated because they have been made to be isolated by, fucking everything. Social media literally just got, like, Meta just had to pay out a shit ton of money because they were proven to be addictive in court. Right? Like, that's a literal thing that happened.
I see that there are lawsuits being filed now for, like, people underage who have committed or who have died by suicide.
Right. And there are AI platforms being pushed now. There are people who are, like, being talked into killing themselves from AI.
Yeah, like, that just happened to a teenager.
Yeah, we have a Black Mirror doesn't need to make any more episodes.
We're here.
We did
it.
We did it. I don't need to see any more episodes at this point. You're just giving them ideas.
Honestly.
Right. And that's the thing I love about, like, sometimes as a person who's making my own show, who's trying to write some things and everything like that, Glitch Hunters is coming soon. I'll post some stuff soon. Whatever. Feels weird to plug during this. But, there is this thing when a person is creating art, like a movie or like a stage production or like a book or story, where I had author Paul Lang on and we talked about, like, for example, if you're making a convincing narrative with convincing characters, sometimes you do have to write and create bad people who do bad things. Yeah. But that does not make the person who creates that in that show or whatever, or portrays that in art, like Professor Snape from Harry Potter, fuck Harry Potter, but first villain that came to mind. Pick Darth Vader, for example.
There we go.
Yeah. Fucking Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, whatever the fuck. They're not, like, I'm trying to think of the actor who played
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones, yes.
Wait, the old school or the new?
No, it's James Earl Jones is what I'm thinking of. James Earl Jones has played many villains. He's played so many villains, and he's played good guys. But that doesn't make him like Darth Vader in real life. That doesn't make whatever. And, like, for example, there are a lot of people who are different characters out in and out of drag. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, Trixie Mattel, very famously, 100%. When they're Brian, they're Brian. When they're Trixie, they're Trixie.
Yeah.
And, Frida Nips was on the podcast, and then, like, when I'm Frida, I'm Frida. When I'm CJ, I'm CJ. And that's, that might change and it might not, because gender is fluid. It's a spectrum. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that just because somebody performs in a way that they are always that all of the time. Because I know there are some drag performances that are sexually engaged, but there are some that are funny. But it doesn't mean that just because one person does a drag performance that is sexualized at an adult venue once, doesn't mean that they're that all of the time. As you were saying, with the kids' party and with everything.
For sure.
It's frustrating because it's in a way, it's media. Again, I'm hitting the hammer again. Media literacy. It's people need to just 110%. I don't know how else to put it. Like, get their heads out of their ass.
Well, we also just need to fucking slow down.
Yeah.
And read.
Yeah.
We just need to slow down.
And breathe as well. Just take a fucking breath, man.
That too.
Why are you so mad?
We're so urgent all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because of this awful 24-hour news cycle that we're caught up in. And it's just, things like what we see are a cycle. Yeah. Like our 24, this is a cycle. For example, to use a very recent example, when Trump announced an entire civilization is going to be leveled tonight.
On Easter, by
the way, we all were whipped, right?
Yeah.
And, if you have any semblance of empathy, you likely started mourning the loss of that human life right then and there. I know I did, because there's literally nothing that I could do to stop that from happening.
No.
And then less than a few hours later, he was like, just kidding, babes. We're going into a ceasefire. You're welcome. He literally posted the words, "You're welcome." Now, that specifically, we go through that in our news cycle a lot. We go through that with this
administration.
Thank you. With this administration a lot. This is a very recognizable pattern in high conflict relationships.
Right.
It is an abusive pattern where somebody puts a threat on a table. You can see the threat, you can see the violence. It is a very tangible and very scary threat. And then in a grand gesture, they sweep it away and they're like, everything that you were just worried about, I took care of it.
Right.
I'm the hero. You're welcome.
It's like an abusive boyfriend who like makes you think he's gonna absolutely hurt you, and then just doesn't do it. He punches a wall. He's like, "You're lucky I punched the wall." And
you're lucky that wasn't your face.
Yeah,
right, exactly. And the thing with that pattern is it's highly stressful, and it's meant to keep your nervous system on edge, because it's meant to keep you exhausted, because if you're exhausted you can't think clearly.
And it desensitizes you.
It desensitizes you. Not only that, the thing that I think that we miss and we don't talk about a lot is that pattern is also highly addictive.
It is.
It is incredibly addictive because of the rise of cortisol, followed by the lowering and the rise of dopamine. Like, it's an incredibly addictive pattern. And I think
the sad thing is I learned that from Steven Universe.
Really?
Yes, they 100%. There's an episode in Steven Universe where he turns into a monster because over the years of like trauma and everything, he's gone into a pattern of like having a threat. The world's gonna end. I have to stop it. And then one day he just breaks down and thinks he's a bad person, he's a monster or whatever. And it's because of a rise in cortisol.
Yeah.
And it's an addictive substance. It literally is. It is a stimulant. It is a...
Yes.
It is a... Especially as a person myself, I've been homeless 4 times. I'm good now. Don't be sad. I'm good. Think of it like,
That's
you're better now. Yeah.
That's a lot, though.
It's like, it's a lot. And you get to a point where, literally, I've talked about it in my comedy. I've been homeless 4 times. There was a point where I was forced to live with a cult. There was a point where my family's been abusive. I've had a rough fucking backstory. But now we're here. And I'm good because I've had a shitload of therapy.
Yeah.
And I've had to basically rebuild myself.
Yeah.
And I've had to study philosophy, study psychology, study those things on purpose, because there was a point where it was just, I can't keep doing this cycle. I have to break the cycle. Mm-hmm. And the way you do that is by just slowing the fuck down sometimes.
Truly. Slowing down and remembering when to rest, because your mental health is of course the most important, but we can't rest forever either, because I think sometimes people disengage very quickly and they're like, this is too much for me to bear, I can't handle it. I understand that, and I understand that it's a lot, but this is the world that you live in. And take care of yourself,
and also I think
lick your wounds, but then buckle up and get back into it.
True, but I also think at some times the world we live in right now, and this is me being an anti-capitalist here, but the world we live in currently is built so you don't have rest, is built so you don't really get to lick your wounds.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, licking your wounds? What do you mean? Hospital bills are $6,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna get really comfortable here for a second.
Go right ahead. I've had people take off their shoes before here too, so you're fine.
Yeah, we gotta get real crooked in
You're
this
not
chair.
Okay. Jacob did that last time.
Perfect.
That's funny.
I feel so much more comfortable.
Pose, strike the pose, but no,
surprise, surprise. No, okay.
It is at a point where people can't rest. They can't sleep. They can't, take a vacation, take maternity leave, take time for their children to there is no break, because everything is
design.
Exactly. It's always about growth. It's always about making more. And the problem is that there is no option to play the game. Because when you just choose, there is no going off grid. There is no, I'm just going to choose not to participate.
Right.
Because they've trapped people.
Right.
It is, and, this is why people will say, oh, you say this typing from an iPhone. motherfucker, if I don't have the iPhone,
you have to have it.
You have to have it.
At this point, you have to have a smartphone to function.
Exactly. It is a modern necessity. People will say, like, oh, why do homeless people have smartphones? What the fuck do you mean?
What else are they going to do? How are they going to... Well, first of all, 60% of people who are homeless are also employed.
Exactly.
So let's start there. Of course they have a phone. They have to have a phone for their job.
You have to have a phone for government reasons.
Yeah, no shit.
That, like, for goddamn, we live in a system where we're all giving social security numbers, and we have to have IDs everywhere we go. Like, we don't have people walking around saying papers, please, yet, but they're making us have papers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, they want us to be easy to find, to be easy to track, to be easy to, like,
and they've made us so dependent on these small tracking and recording devices that we carry around with us constantly.
And it sucks because, like, listen, people want an escape, and drag is an escape for people.
Yeah.
It really is. It is. Comedy is an escape for people.
Yeah.
For me. And, like, you know, for example, I posted my clip about 2H... I keep fucking saying that wrong. The drag ban bill, the gender enforcement bill. But, like, I posted a clip about it, and there was somebody who said, you know, comedy is supposed to be an escape. You're not supposed to get political in comedy. It's like, I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But when politics invades my art form... Mm-hmm. What else am I to do but have to get political? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my friends who do drag, 110%, if this bill passed, I don't know what they're going to do with themselves.
Yeah.
Because they have spent so many years and investment in their career. Like, I don't even know how much money you've spent on some of your costumes. It's probably more than we want to talk about.
Me neither.
Yeah. It's probably more than I want to talk about because I'm on a very fixed income. But that said, it's like it's a point of pride thing. You put your investment, you put your money into the things you want to build for your future, for your career, for your, like, quality of life. And then when politics comes in and goes, oh, you can't do that because you make somebody uncomfortable. I hate to be that guy. Fuck you. Be uncomfortable then.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I love, I do comedy as well.
Yeah.
And I love making people uncomfortable. There is something very broken in my brain. I am actually one of those people who thoroughly enjoys the feeling of bombing.
Yep.
There is just...
I don't,
like
but I've heard that.
I don't know if it's because I'm a Gemini or what. But
I'm a Gemini, though.
Oh, it's like that other twin takes hold, and it's like everybody in this room is staring at you, and they are waiting for the joke, even though two have already come out.
Yeah.
They're a captive audience. There's nothing between them and the door except for you, and you've got the power. And you can try to turn it around, but what if you made them even more uncomfortable?
I do appreciate... The one thing I do appreciate about bombing sometimes, me personally, because I hate it, I'm not going to lie to you, because I have a weird sense of, like, perfectionism with myself.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't polish my routines.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I would rather not bomb than bomb.
Yeah.
But if it's going to happen, I usually have a little bit of fun with it because I realize this audience they're my captives and I can do whatever I want right now.
Sometimes when I bomb, I will sit there and I will still be enjoying myself because the thought in my head is just, what the fuck is wrong with these people? I am hitting every note. I know this works.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is this not working for you?
Yeah.
I don't understand because it's like showing, like, I maybe know like 2 or 3 magic tricks, so I'm not a magician by any standards, but it's like having a magician do a trick for a person and that person's reaction is just neat.
Yeah. Oh, some of my most confusing nights in drag have been where the audience faces have just been really stone.
Oh yeah.
And then, like, all right, everybody give it up for it. And they're just like... And then after the show, they come up to, this was amazing. It was so incredible. Here's some more money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Are you the same person who was just sitting there stone-faced, barely clapping their hands? Like, I don't understand what's going on.
I think it's because people don't like drawing attention to themselves anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, I think people are like scared that like, oh, if I laugh weird, somebody's gonna point me out, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have this weird culture now where, just like this bill, expression has kind of been internally policed as well. You know what I'm saying? Because like people, like for example, toxic masculinity is not allowed. You're not allowed as a man to cry, or like, you know, toxic femininity, as in like you're a girl boss, keep on that grind, gaslight, gatekeep, whatever.
Girl boss,
yeah. It's like there's toxic versions of both
for sure
gender spectrums. Don't get me wrong, but that's because hey, guess what? It doesn't matter what gender identity you are, what race you are, what age, what background, what country of origin you have. You can still just be an asshole.
You surely can.
Yeah, but you could also choose to be a good person.
Yeah.
And that is the thing, is that like people love to just have ideas of like, hey, I got burned by this one person of this one identity.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to punish them all in my brain forever.
Yeah.
When that's not how it works. Every person you meet is an individual upon themselves. And that's just, I don't know. I'm probably preaching to the choir at this point, but
no,
yeah.
it's worth mentioning for sure.
Yeah. But you know, as we're kind of starting to bringing it down here, because we're starting to get on our time here, if I check my time. Yeah, we're getting close on time. Let's try and talk some positives. You know what I'm saying? Because we have been very negative. We have been very vocal about what we don't like about like the laws and the community.
Let's lighten the mood.
Let's lighten the mood. You know, with only like maybe a few minutes left of the podcast.
It's all right.
Oh yeah.
We can make quick work of this.
No. What is your favorite things about drag?
Oh, my favorite things about drag is that there are no rules.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of performance. I've done comedy. I've been on stage since I was 4. I was in dance as a little kid. I did theater. I did choir. I've done band. I've done it all. My favorite thing about drag is that drag is, like, I can take everything that I've done and push it all in this one art form. Sometimes even in one number. Yeah. And it's totally fine. Like, it's literally whatever you want it to be.
It's in comedy, that's the same way. Because comedy, it's back.
Yeah.
Like, somebody like Bo Burnham could not have existed in the 50s.
Sure, yeah.
But the fact is that now you have people like Jeff Dunham, even though I think he's a hack.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Bo Burnham. You have people who like do different art forms of comedy. Oh God, there's this comedian I watch now who's I fucking forget her name, but she like wears like vaudeville style stuff, and she goes, "Where are you from, darling?"
Lucy Darling.
Yes, Lucy Darling.
Love Lucy Darling.
Love Lucy Darling, because I just discovered her not too long ago, and
really,
she's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
and you know, that's part of her study and part of her performance, and I love people who like can present themselves in a unique way.
Yeah, I love a character comic for sure, or a musician comic.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It is. I love. Some of my favorite clips of drag, me personally, are just like people lip syncing to the Me Shop channel, or like, you know, or God forbid, I saw a clip the other day of a drag queen who showed up wearing like pajamas and then just went to sleep on the bar.
Yep.
And then I saw one of like a person who showed up and the whole bit was that the song didn't even start. You know what I mean?
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I remember I was in New York and I was in a drag brunch, and the 2 hosts that were there sat down and did the Austin Powers theme song, that little bossa nova. They sat there and ate a plate of poutine to that song.
I saw one.
And that was it, and it was wonderful.
I saw somebody who like had a really boxy outfit, and then when they got down on like their all fours, they turned into a car.
That's amazing.
And they like
a literal transformer.
Yeah, they played the Transformers theme song while they were doing it.
That's perfect.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, no, I love doing stupid shit like that.
It is 100%. Like, just a performance, just theater, just spectacle. It's no different than, like, professional wrestling, than comedy, than, like, Broadway. It is just expression at its purest, and it's something that needs protected. 110%. What was I going to say? I've never done drag, but I've, like, for example, in high school, I did theater. I did a show called All Shook Up.
Mm-hmm.
And in that show, there was a scene where we had 4 young men dress up as old ladies
Mm-hmm.
to do a number where I'm singing about, like, how this woman reminds me of my mother or whatever. You know, it was fucking hilarious, right? And you wouldn't have that under this bill. You
Right.
wouldn't. It's just, again, I'm trying not to be too negative again, but it's.
Yeah, we're supposed to be positive.
God
right
damn
now.
it! It's hard to do that with, like, the state of the world. But that being said, like, you know, drag is just part of it. It is like Drag Race. Do you watch Drag Race? I assume you do. You don't.
I don't
Wow.
watch Drag Race.
Controversial.
Yeah. I get caught up online in the zeitgeist, whether I want to or not. I have only watched one full episode of Drag Race, and that was the finale when Anya was on. That's because I know Anya.
Okay.
And I watched her win, and that's the only full episode of Drag Race I've ever watched.
See, this is where I'm also gonna admit I don't watch Drag Race either.
No.
My trans male best friend does watch it, and I have been in the room while they were watching it.
Oh, I've been in the room while people have watched it,
Oh, yeah.
and I've seen clips online and stuff, but I just don't, I really don't want my views going to a show where the host has compared trans women doing female presenting drag to a performer taking, or an athlete taking performance enhancing drugs,
Yeah.
and who also allows large oil companies to frack on her property.
And that is, RuPaul is a lot of people's problem with Drag
Yeah.
Race. And that is, and listen, a lot of people are like, you know, my opinion of it is, we thank you for the work you did.
100%.
Thank you for paving the way.
I do not, I want to make it very clear, I
Yeah.
do not dislike RuPaul.
Right.
I am very, very appreciative to her for everything that she has done.
Oh, yeah.
From the club kid scene in the 90s in New York to how she has put drag on the map today.
Exactly.
I think that it is also incredibly foolish of us to turn a blind eye to the harm that she has done to the drag community as well.
You can respect somebody, and you can respect and love somebody's legacy,
Absolutely.
but also understand that they're not
perfect.
They're not perfect.
You know, I like to refer to what we see now as the RuPaulification of drag. A lot of people, you hear drag, and very much like the trans conversation, you think of high femme presenting, you know, drag queens who are cis men or trans women, and the reality is drag is so much more vast
Have
than that.
we gotten
And we're
a
not-
Drag King season of Drag Race?
There is the first drag king got cast on Drag Race, but it's Drag Race. Is it Canada or Australia? I think it's Drag Race Canada, but he also has a queen persona.
See, this is why, me personally, I will not see. Maybe, hey, Drag Race, listen to this. Do a whole season of Drag Kings.
Well,
Please.
there's an all drag king show now.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know, but if they wanted to actually represent the full spectrum of drag,
Yeah.
like, do drag kings, do
Well,
drag things.
Well, it's not just that too. Like, I also feel like RuPaul has put this expectation in audiences' minds that all outfits have to be expensive, layered, beaded gowns.
We talked
And
about that on the
is-
first episode.
That is just not it. It's not realistic.
Show up dressed as a fucking Crayola marker.
For sure.
We don't care.
I've literally dressed up as a hot dog before.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh my god, I would love to see that, especially if you, like, lip synced to the oh god, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's that show.
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
No, you.
Okay.
That's funny. Hot dog.
It is in that mix.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. I'll have to have you send me that clip so I can watch
I do the
it.
mix. I do the little dance and everything.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. As you should. As you should. But there's that in comedy. There's that I think it's You Need to Leave show. I forget the guy's name, but there's a sketch where a guy drives a hot dog shaped car into a building, and then everyone's like, "Who did this?" And then he shows up in the crowd like, "Yeah, in a hot dog costume."
Yes.
Going.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I don't know, guys.
Who did this? We need to find a guy who did this.
That's really funny.
And there happens to also be a guy standing there who's wearing, like, a tan suit with a red undershirt and a yellow tie.
Perfect.
So he's like, it could have been that guy. He's also dressed like a hot dog.
That's perfect.
And it's like, you know, that would be a wonderful thing to see a drag bit into. And in a way, I 100%, like, Baby No Money is one of my favorite artists right now.
And he's obsessed with drag kings.
He's obsessed with drag kings. And he does drag himself when he does cosplay.
Yeah, yeah.
If he ever came to Ohio, I wanted to go. This is the sad thing. I finally get to tell this story on here. I wanted to go to a Baby No Money concert in Detroit.
Yeah, me too. I wanted to go to that one.
Yeah.
The one that was just last month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I wanted to go to that so bad. And I was trying for like a month to like month or two before the show. Like, hey, all of my friends. I posted about it. I was like, hey, I don't own a car. That's just the thing. And I'm disabled, so I can't like walk my ass to Detroit. So I'm like, hey, anybody, like, if I can get a ride up there, I'm wanting to get like front row seats. I will buy you a ticket.
Oh my gosh.
Just give me the ride. You know what I mean? And no one, like, no
I'm
one
sad
said
that I
yes.
didn't see that status because I should have came and I should have dressed up in drag. Baby No Money. If you're listening, listen to me. At Stevie_Phoenix, we can make magic together.
Yes, Baby No Money, I hope you hear this. Because I wanted to go to that concert so bad. But it's the funny thing is that I asked some of my friends about it, and they didn't know who he was, and that's fine. There is no monoculture. You don't have to know who, like, one of the coolest artists is right now. But
they're losers. No, I'm just kidding.
But I literally had one or two friends who were like, ew. And I'm like,
no, he's wonderful. I love him so much.
What the fuck? Like, I love his community as well because, for example, after I first heard about this bill, on Transvisibility Day, and I did it twice. After I first heard about this bill, but also on Transvisibility Day, I saw he had posted on YouTube in his community tab, and I made a comment saying, like, hey, this is happening in Ohio right now. Like, I don't know anything. And there was a lot of people who, like, boosted that just to, like, yeah, we need to, like, get that out. We need to, like, raise it. There were so many people in the comments just sending love to all the dolls in Ohio.
Aww.
Like, I fucking love the community he fosters.
Yeah.
He's such a good... And he fucking collabs everywhere. So, like,
yeah.
Hey, Baby No Money! Hit me up on a Shawn Will comedy! We can make magic together!
Yeah, no, he's incredible. And he does foster community. And I think that that's a really big thing that we are missing right now.
Yeah.
We really need to foster community with one another. I mean, I think that COVID really messed us up, man.
Everybody.
COVID really messed us up. I mean,
I was doing comedy on Omegle when that was still around during COVID.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was like, I can't lose the, like...
Yeah, I was doing drag on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's...
100%.
And it's not the same. That face-to-face human interaction, people forgot how
I will
to
say,
like...
I'm very grateful for the videoing skills that gave me. Because we were editing together it went from let's perform in front of a green screen in one take and throw something into the background. It started as that, and it ended in these full-fledged music video productions.
Yeah. I love the skills that I've learned because of the pandemic. Like, I learned I went back and relearned how to use Blender, like 3D modeling software, and now I'm
cool.
using that to help animate my show that I'm working on.
Very cool.
Like, I've taught myself a lot of skills, but, like, one of the other things I did learn in the pandemic is, we touched on this earlier, is the fact that, like, this is why the podcast sometimes suffers, because money does sometimes matter when you're pursuing creative endeavors. Because this may look easy, like doing a podcast, doing drag, doing comedy. It is not. Because if you actually want to get yourself out there these days, there are no organic channels to do it. Like, there are no feeder systems. There are no I can just hit the scene and never post online. Like, you have to play the social media game because that's where everyone who books is at now.
And that's why I was talking about, like, kissing the devil's ring.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it feels like, because if it were up to me, I would not be on social media at all.
No.
At all. I would maybe keep, like, Facebook Messenger so that way I could have, like, a touch point to people whose numbers I don't have or something.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, like, I don't like living my life out loud. I'm a fairly private person. I mean, I'm a visible trans person. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Yeah.
about like actual like, you know, personal things within my day-to-day life. I don't post about those things.
Right.
I don't post my children because their identities are too sacred.
Nor should you, especially with how freaking
Yeah.
weird the internet is.
And I
getting.
just hate the feeling of like the comparison that social media creates. You know what I mean? And I think that we forget that this is a curated version of somebody's life that you're seeing.
Right.
You are only seeing, why does everything only go good for them? Because they're only posting the good stuff, honey. Because they're only posting the good stuff.
I would love for people to just understand that everything you see online isn't just curated, it's pre-recorded. Like, for example, if this podcast was just us, like, if this was not entertaining, if this was shit, you think I'd post it?
Right.
Like, if we just
Exactly.
sat here going, ooh, doo gaga, making
I will
poo-poo
be the
doo-doo
first
noises.
to say there are things on my social media
Yeah.
that are lies.
Oh, yeah.
There are things on there that are simply not true. I posted a video and it did so well. It was just B-roll footage of me performing on a pride stage, and I posted text over it and it said, someone once told me that it doesn't matter what you do on stage, it just matters that you believe in it. And I've never been the same since. Nobody's ever fucking told me that. I've just learned that
Yeah.
for myself. But I know that the psychological hook of saying somebody once told me blank and now I've never been the same is a good marketing strategy.
Right. And I fucking in comedy, you think every single joke I ever tell is the
No,
truth?
you can't believe a word that comes out of our mouths when we are up there. There might be a hint of truth in there, but we have reworked that story so it can be the funniest, not the most accurate.
Exactly. We have practiced it on our friends at parties so many goddamn times. We know how it's gonna work.
100%.
Yeah, because we'll start with a true story,
Yeah.
and then we'll just like, what if this happened? Wouldn't it be funny if that happened?
Or it would actually be funnier if these two things happened in the opposite order.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if like these two things that happened like 2 weeks apart happened on the same day.
I remember I had a friend, because I incorporate my comedy into my hosting.
Yeah.
That's my practice.
Oh, yeah.
I practice my sets when I host, you know? And it's also really nice to have like little things in your back pocket. That way, in case an entertainer is taking too long, you can just
Yeah.
be like, oh, I have this quick 3-minute thing that I can, you know, pull out real quick or
I have
whatever.
Belatro on my phone.
But I had a friend one time, I was hosting a show, and after the show, they were like, you gotta be careful what you say on the microphone. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, half the shit that you said wasn't even true. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, people are going to take you too seriously. And I'm like, if people take me that seriously, if people take Stevie Phoenix that seriously, they don't know what they're getting into.
No.
Like, let's be so for real.
Right.
Like, Stevie Keck is a very honest person with a lot of integrity, and I'm not going to mislead you. Stevie Phoenix is not that way.
Oh, yeah.
He's a nasty little faggoty gremlin.
I'm not even going to bleep that, because if anybody says, oh, you can't use that word on this
I
show.
can.
Yeah.
Faggot.
I can.
Tranny.
Exactly. I can't use that other one, but I can use the first one. I choose not to, but that is a personal choice.
That's
Let
very
people
fair.
reclaim their words.
Exactly. And that's, that's who he is. There are small parts of my personality that I put into my stage character, but even those small parts of my personality are so amplified, it still becomes a totally different thing.
Exactly. It's... And I'm such a mark for saying this, but it's like professional wrestling in a way that, like, the old adage in professional wrestling is those people are playing characters. They turn themselves up to 11 sometimes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly it.
That's the old adage, and that's typically the phrase, is that the best professional wrestlers are the ones who can put themselves out there and then just... Like, John Cena is pretty much himself on screen and off screen.
But he's just an exaggerated version of himself.
Right.
Yeah.
When you see him in the Fred movies, is basically like who he is walking down the street. Not really, but
yeah. Stevie Phoenix is definitely an exaggerated version of who I am.
Yeah.
But there's also just certain things, like there are things that I say when I'm in drag that I would never say in my day-to-day life. Like, never. And there's also something to be said, like, and I feel a little bit differently about comedy, but it's because in drag, I literally have a mask on.
Yeah.
Like, I look like a completely different person. That is not my hair. That is not my face. Those are not my clothes. It's almost like this barrier that I have up, and it's like, I'm kind of free of some of the responsibilities that are,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know what I mean?
As a person who used to work at a haunted house, I understand. I mean, I
Yeah.
have done drag, but for example, like
They're very similar.
in a way, yeah, because like obviously my job was to get a scare. And I would do that. Like, sometimes I'd do jump scare, come around the corner, and go, I'm gonna kill ya. Like, or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, or, like, I chase somebody with, like, a plastic machete.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, I used to play a character that's actually gonna be in the show.
Oh, cool.
That is right here on the set. I had a, like, a yellow, like, jumper, and I would do an old age makeup, and I would be a Mr. Rogers character.
Oh, that's icky.
Hi there, neighbor.
Oh, cool.
I like you just the way you are, neighbor. And the whole gimmick was this duck killed Mr. Rogers' family, basically. But it wasn't. Sorry for kicking you.
No, you're good.
But it like the whole bit was that Mr. Rogers. And his name, I called him Ted Fathers to like
very funny.
Save it.
Very funny.
Yeah, Mr. Father's Neighborhood,
Yeah.
similar but not the same or whatever. But that was Quackers, and it was a whole gimmick where, for example, it's funny as hell sometimes to be scared by something.
Yes.
You know, people would get creeped out by me just being a creepy neighbor character, like, I like you just the way you are, neighbor. Hi there, neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Neighbor. Diddly, diddly, diddly. It freaks people out to just see that, like, they've made video games about it. They've made, like, movies about, like, scary
Sure.
neighbors and stuff. And it's funny to sometimes take things that, like clowns, for example. They get turned into horror movie characters all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's is a thing because animatronics creep some people out as kids.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you grow up, the things that kind of scared you as a kid, but you didn't quite know why, it's funny to turn those things creepy. There was a wrestler who passed away named Bray Wyatt who had a similar character to mine, who did like a children's puppet show, but then he also turned into a demon sometimes. And
as one does.
As one does, right? And it was wonderful. And it's the expression of like, when I was Ted Fathers, I'm not gonna ever in my life spider walk at you,
right?
Saying, "Come back, neighbor. Come back next time, neighbor." Like, I'm not gonna do that in real life because it hurts to spider walk, and if you're not paying me, I'm not doing it.
I like what you said about, like, the point is for me to get a scared reaction from you, because I feel like that's the point of all entertainment is to not a scared reaction specifically, but I feel like all entertainment, all performance is specifically to elicit some kind of reaction.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying that for specifically, is because there were times that, like, there are some people who, because they visit haunted houses a lot or whatever, who we've seen it before. We've seen the Party City clown suit covered in fake blood.
Yeah.
Where it's just a guy going, "I'm gonna get you." Like, we've all seen it. We've all seen Freddy Krueger. We've all seen whatever. It's like, you need to actually show me something new. We want stimuli.
Yeah.
We want stimuli. And there are times where you just know, okay, that group walking through the haunt, I'm not gonna be able to scare them. Because they're just desensitized.
Yeah.
But you know what you can do? You can make them fucking laugh.
Yeah.
And if, for example, there was a night...
Oh, I'm a big haunted house laugher.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big laugher in a haunted house.
Exactly. There was a night where at the Haunted Hydro in Fremont, shout out, used to work there, they had a room one year that was set up to look like a bar scene with a stripper pole.
Okay.
Mr. Rogers worked the pole.
That's hilarious.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's really funny. Yeah.
And I made the duck work the pole, too. So, like, there are times where being able to just let loose and be somebody else is just, that's so wonderful. And I hope everyone gets to experience the ability to be somebody else for a little while at some point in their life.
Yeah.
Whether that be through, like, cosplay or stage theater or, like, hell, just getting into a really good video game and getting immersed or something.
Fun fact, when you're out in public and you're not with anybody that you know, you can literally be anybody.
It's like Rango said, you know?
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do. Oh my gosh, I'm really telling on myself now. I love to lie to strangers.
Dude,
I
same.
love to pretend to be somebody else or to have a totally different life to a stranger that I know that I'm never going to see again, because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. And it also kind of helps me practice my improv skills a little bit.
I've almost kind of developed it as a like social anxiety thing because I hate small talk in public. I really do. Like if I'm going to Walmart and I'm checking out at the cash register and the person at the counter is like, "Got any plans for the weekend?" Why are you asking me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would always get anxious because it's like, even if I don't have plans, what am I going to do? I don't have plans. That's boring. Like, you know, if somebody like engages you in a conversation, it's a human response to want to like engage them back.
Yeah, to add to it. Yeah.
Right. And if you don't have anything to add because you're doing nothing that weekend, or God forbid, you just don't want to actually say what you're doing because it's no one's business or whatever, like, you know what I do? I just go, yeah, I'm planning on going and seeing a show this weekend. I'm going to go up to Detroit, see a concert, whatever. Like, I'll just fucking make up fucking plans, because if you ask me if I have plans this weekend, I'm going to give you something interesting.
So for me, like if I'm in a place, which honestly, for the most part, I actually really enjoy small talk in public with strangers.
I don't. That's my autism show.
I don't like. I'm ADHD, so I understand, but I don't like small talk in like texts or phone calls. Like, you called me for a reason. We have to be
different sides of the spectrum.
That's so funny, because I'm like, you called me for a reason. You text me for, like, when somebody texts me and says, "Hey, I have a question." Least favorite thing ever. Just ask me the question. Or if somebody texts me and was like, "Hey, how's it going? I've been thinking about you." I know that you're leading into something, so just get into the thing that you want to ask me about. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that does bother me sometimes. I don't get on people about it because I realize that's a me problem. You know what I mean? And I play the niceties and I do the social niceties and whatnot. But out in public, I actually really don't mind small talk. I like it when the old lady in the grocery line starts talking to me. And if I do, because I also suffer from social anxiety. So if I do ever get in a moment like where somebody's like, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I'm either like, "I can't talk right now, I don't want to tell you," or "This is boring," I'll make the conversation about the other person. I will say nothing. I'll be like, "Not much. What are you doing this weekend?"
Yeah. Not to change the subject too much, but like, it's kind of on the same boat. You know what's even worse than small talk for me is this has happened very rarely. This has happened maybe like twice in the 6 years that I've done comedy. I hate being hit on at a performance.
Do not do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Unless a performer is giving you very specific cues, and you will know. Yeah. If you're thinking, are they? They're not.
No.
If you're thinking, do they? They don't. Yeah. If you're thinking yes, then it's yes. Don't hit on a performer. We are at a job. Like, we're literally clocking in for work. We're not trying to fuck you, I promise.
Some of us don't even get paid for the job.
Another thing that I like to say when I'm hosting is some performances that you are going to see tonight may be sexual in nature. That does not mean we want to have sex with you. No. Your dollar does not give you an all-access pass to do whatever you would like with us. That is not transactional. That is simply you saying thank you for the performance.
You are not entitled to what you see in front of you.
Absolutely not.
No. It's fucking dumb. Like, for me personally, I've had, and it's the worst for me because I'm demisexual. So God forbid, I've had a person come up to me and ask me for hugs and whatever, and I'm a hugger, so that's fine and it's whatever. But like, after the hug, they said something, they like hugged me a little too tight, you know what I mean? And then afterwards they said something about like, "I hope you think my outfit's slutty enough." And I was just
That'll
like,
make me so uncomfortable.
I was so uncomfortable because I was just like, I don't know you.
I'm really lucky that I'm married.
Yeah.
Because I can just say that. I was at a drag show a few weeks ago, and I was just...
And I'm not even pretty.
Stop. I was at a drag show a few weeks ago, and I was just there as a guest. Like, I wasn't performing. I was there just to watch the show. And there was this other trans guy that was walking around, and he kept walking by me, and at one point, he straight up fucked me when he walked by me. And listen, I'm a flirt.
Yeah.
I love to flirt. Love it. Once it starts getting real, though, I will dip. I don't want it to be real. I live for the fantasy.
Yeah.
So he came and sat with me, and we were talking a little bit, and, you know, I could tell he was trying to shoot his shot because he kept getting closer. He was getting really touchy, trying to ask me personal questions. And so I just got my phone out, and I said, oh, give me 1 second. I forgot to text my husband that I was here.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
It's the worst for me because it's even if, God forbid, I was attracted to the person who was hitting on me. And again, this has only happened twice. I'm not trying to make this because I'm like missing half my fucking teeth and whatever. So it's like I'm not trying to act like I'm handsome and I have people throwing themselves. No, I'm just saying it's like the couple of times it has happened. It's been so awkward because it's like how do you reject somebody like that in a public place without having concern about like it not being an issue sometimes, right? Because like you have the excuse of marriage, but it's for people who don't have that. It's like even if they're single, it's always just don't put yourself in a place where you can get rejected by somebody that you know you don't know. Don't do that to yourself. You know what I mean? Don't get micro parasocial with yourself.
Yeah.
You know? It's get to know a person first. Like, God forbid, I understand we live in the app culture now where swipe left, swipe right, and so many people meet online these days, and this, that, and whatever, and everything's so automatic gratification, whatever. Date people. Like, actually go on dates.
I don't
hang out before you go on dates.
Sure.
Be friends before you.
But some people don't want to do that. Some people really do just want to hook up.
Okay, and listen, that is valid. I'm not against hookup culture. I'm not against the idea of like I am very sex positive. You know.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about body counts or shit like that. So 100%. But it is a way to where it's like you should kind of lead with that. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels awkward to say that. But instead of leading with something like, oh, I hope my outfit's slutty, or like, oh, I'd like to, like, be more polite about it, is almost asked, is like, are you into hookups? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Respectfully, no disrespect, are you into hookups? Before I even start to approach you about that. And at that, like, if somebody came up to me and was to ask me, are you into hookups? I would go, respectfully, no. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you're interested, because that's a shocker to me anytime somebody's interested in me. But no, I'm not. I have to, like, I'm demisexual. I have to know you first.
Yeah.
Right? And it takes me a long time to know a person. And that, I feel like that's a thing I've developed because of the fact that, like, we get into this culture of just... I was talking with my friend, Lucy Fear, about this not too long ago. She's going to be on the podcast at some point. I haven't worked out schedule yet. She's always busy. But she used to be a promoter and stuff up in Toledo as well, and has done events and part of the iNation crew that I had Audio Flesh on the show here before. I need to stop giving qualifiers. Just say the thing I'm trying to say, damn it. But it is a thing where basically people assume they know you just based off of like the smallest fraction of your life. You know? And like, I don't want to say, like, there are so many people, and I hate using this comparison because I'm not trying to equate that, oh, everyone you know, you don't actually know them or whatever. But how many people are there who have been, like, married to serial killers? Or, like, live next door to a person who's been a creep their whole life and had beers and stuff with them and then go, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is that you don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know what happens, you know, in a person's head even.
Yeah.
Right? Like, for example, I'm a schizophrenic person. I do comedy about it sometimes. And there are times where I will be at a comedy show and I am, in my head, almost freaking the frick out because I'm thinking, oh, these people want to kill me because I'm paranoid schizophrenic. If they could be laughing their butts off. And then I'm in my head going, they want to hurt me. They want to, like, I'm going to get beat up after this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it never happens because I'm just paranoid and schizophrenic. God forbid if it ever does happen, I hope I recover.
I'm sorry.
No, I understand. I understand.
Could you?
I would be like, oh fuck, it happened.
Never again.
No. I knew it. Oh God! Like just, I can imagine a situation where like somebody threatens to kick my ass at a show. It's like, hey, fuck you! I'll see you in the parking lot. I was just like, oh God! I knew they hated me.
It's happening.
It's happening. Oh man, security! What do you mean we don't have security? Oh yeah, this is just an open mic at a bar. Fuck! God damn it! That being said, we are getting pretty much, we're on our time. We've talked a lot, so we should probably end it here for the night, guys. That being said, this has been the Shawn Will Podcast. I have been Shawn Will Be, the Shawn Will Be Here Podcast. Fucking can't even say my own podcast name right. It's happening! This has been
Stevie Phoenix. You can follow me on socials at Stevie_Phoenix.
Alright. And we will hope you be here next time. Bye!
Yesterday still is not tomorrow, still is not today. No way, it just can't be. Worrying, all that worrying is reason for confusion, is reason for the stay. Fast play, which I can't see. At times, sometimes I like to take it slow, living here in this world.